Hey, welcome to Chaka and Baba. Hey, my name is Bernard Muhammad, and on the mic today I got Baba GD. How you doing, brother?
How's it going, Brother Muhammad? I'd like to thank the Most High for putting this together through you. I am elated for Chaka and Baba, brother.
Okay. Hey, for those who may be looking at this and saying, "Man, what is Bernard doing on a Steelers show?" So actually, Bears Banner is actually becoming a channel, and we're going to actually launch other podcasts like we have so far. Like we've launched Chicago High School Football Legends. We didn't launch the 2-minute drill. So what we're about to premiere is Shaka and Baba, and I'm not going to be on that show. I'm just sitting in today for Shaka, and Baba GD wanted to share some of his thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, so hey, what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Have at it.
Hey, it's interesting time of Steeler Nation history. I think it's a marriage that's about to end, meaning Tomlin and the Steelers. And I think it's probably best that both parts separate amicably. I think the thing that's really on the buzzwaves right now is us trading Tomlin and getting compensation. With him being a legendary coach, winning over 70% of his games, he'll be an asset to another team. And with the Steelers today, we need discipline. I would like to go with another 1911 guy whose initials is my chapter, EB, as our
Okay.
as our next coach. But if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But I Tomlin came at the perfect storm, Mr. Muhammad. He
Mm-hmm.
came when the infrastructure was in place with Cowher.
Mm-hmm.
We had the players, we had the identity, and more importantly, we had the locker room leaders. We had Hines, we had Marquise Ponce will smack somebody in the mouth, in the locker room to get somebody. We don't have those leaders anymore. And he's more of a great motivator, leader of men, but a disciplinarian, as we can see with AB, he's not. But I think he'd be to maybe the Jets or somewhere else. But we need a disciplinarian, and we need to get back to really identity football. But those are some of the things, that and many other things we're going to talk about on Chaka Baba. Chaka, my co-host, is from Western Illinois, played football with me in Western Illinois, very insightful on the game, and lead a consultant. That's my younger brother, but very insightful on the game. So we are elated to be part of this beautiful channel, and I love this brother, Mr. Muhammad. So we're gonna have a good time talking real
Mm-hmm.
good Steeler football. But thank you, brother.
Okay. You know what? I was listening to you as you was talking about. Um, it sounded like the marriage with Mike Tomlin might be ending. And a few years ago, I always been a Steelers fan from a distance. A few years ago, I started saying that not the Bears, but the Steelers probably need to part ways because they're kind of stuck in mediocrity, where they're good enough to keep a 500 record and get bounced in the first round. But unless they bottom out, I always thought the Steelers had been stuck. And unfortunately, this I feel you as a Steeler fan, if you're saying, hey, you might just have to move on. But and you mentioned undisciplined in the locker room. I thought it started a few years ago. I know AB was a different type of player, but I started noticing people like Juju Smith and other players that seem to have some kind of discipline. And you had the situation with Claypool and etc. And now you're having the same seem to
Yeah.
be issue with George Pickens. What's your feelings on George Pickens?
Um, Uber talented. I was talking with lead consultant about this today. We are in a day and age, Mr. Muhammad, where social media is king. I is not part of team, and it's just self gratification and putting yourself before the team. That's part of the in today's sports. That's part of the culture, you know. And when I played, you had people that were allowed to really coach you and rear you to be a responsible, accountable young man. Now that's not allowed. Now you have participation trophies. You have, it's totally the opposite way of really reeling a kid in. So, and that's the culture that Tomlin kind of created, and it started with AB, where AB at the time they would stay. He would stay in his own dorm room. I mean, the own dorm, like whole floor for himself in the dormitory. Uh, going on social media after a loss or after a win in the in an AFC playoff game, and not reeling that in. So, and RC's talked about it. Ryan Clark has talked a lot about it on ESPN, and it's just time for a change, you know. And I think maybe with an Eric Bieniemy, he could reel a kid like that in, because he's the bruh. He's no. I'm going to make you a accountable young man. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't play, or really rear a kid in to understand you have the talent. Now the accountability and the work ethic is with that talent. You're going to be outstanding. So it's a
Right.
process, but we'll talk about it, brother. We're going to talk about it.
Okay. Hey, so ironically, I kind of mix these names up a little bit because the last name each like sound almost similar. But yeah, I mean, y'all have a quarterback, Kenny. I guess it's Pickett's.
Yeah,
Pickett.
Yes, sir.
He's out on injury, but it
Yes,
seemed
sir.
like the Steelers has been a kind of a carousel with quarterbacks since the retirement of Big Ben. You had Mason Rudolph. You didn't Mitch Trubisky recently. Now he went back to Mason Rudolph. There was maybe about 5 quarterbacks on the team last year. I mean, I know one of them, rest in peace, one of the Ohio State quarterbacks former quarterbacks was trying out. I mean, have y'all found the answer at quarterback, or y'all still looking?
My honest, and that's another topic for the show, and another, I would say, a blow to Tomlin is the proper development of Kenny Pickett. He had a lot of promise coming off of his rookie year. I mean, the kid had about 4 or 5 fourth quarter comebacks. That lets me know he has poise. He's a gamer. He's a winner. If you've given that kid what any young quarterback needs in this league, besides obviously a line, is a run game. If you get a guy a run game, you look at Brock Purdy. Give a guy a run game. That's his. I akin that to Linus on Charlie Brown's blanket. That is a quarterback's blanket. And now when we have a very effective weapon in Pat Frymuth, now that's a second blanket. Little 5-yard digs to man, you have a weapon at tight end. Hand the ball off. Now you could build off of that. That's how we built off of Ben. When Ben came in his rookie year, we went 15-1. Ben passed the ball 10 to 15 times a game. That team belonged to Jerome Bettis. When he ran over Urlacher. That's how we won. He got the ball 30, 40 times a game. And then we slowly added on to our offense as Ben matured. Ben wasn't Ben his rookie year. You could do that with this kid. Now, I'll leave some of it for my show, but the Matt Canada, that may be the first thing we talk about is Matt Canada. And why that was the first bullet in his armor was the Matt Canada hire. But we'll talk forever, man. I'm so pumped for this show. I'm pumped.
Okay. When you're talking about running the ball, Pittsburgh Steelers has a history of great running backs. When you go to Franco Harris, Rocky Bleier, you had Jerome Bettis, and even for a minute you had fast Willie Parker. He had a very decent career. But when you say run the ball, I mean, what's the deal with Najee Harris? I just saw something a few weeks ago where it kind of almost appeared. I know it was Matt Canada, but which I know you talk about that later, but I noticed it sounded like he was throwing Matt Canada under the bus right before he got fired. I mean, can Najee Harris, him as a player, can he get the job done? I guess that's my question.
That's the gap in first and foremost, he was a Ben required pick, so it was a needless pick, but he's a I formation runner. He's a hit the gap runner. He's a downhill runner. He's not a zone run blocking scheme runner, which is what Matt Canada brought to the table. He's not that stretch cut back. He's a put him behind a fullback. He's 6'3", 250 pounds. Hey, what's it gonna be? You know what I mean? Hit a gap, fall over for 4 or 5 yards. That's the type of runner he is. And the scheme that he was put in was piss poor. It wasn't meant for him. You know? So if you get him in an I formation, at least pistol, don't get him in an off back formation, offset, and put him behind Powers, re-implement a fullback now at Pittsburgh. You're going to make use of him.
Okay.
We didn't run him to his strengths, and the line blocking scheme was metrosexual at best.
Okay.
It wasn't a hey, I'm going to hit you in the mouth and get to the second level. It's not. That's the Steelers run game I'm used to. That metrosexual hitting the edge. Everybody runs a 4-4. You're not hitting no edge on nobody in the NFL no more. You're not.
Yeah. So
The
hey, so
teams that can run downhill are going to be successful. San Francisco, Philly. So, but
okay.
go ahead, bro.
So when the Steelers, I guess we wrap up in a few minutes. What changes? Hold on, let me go back. Do you see the Steelers making a playoff this year? I guess that'd be the first question. And if the Steelers make the playoff, how do they match up with their division going forward? Because I see this division being a problem for the Steelers if they don't make any changes. You're looking at Ravens who seem to have all the pieces in place. You're looking at a Cleveland team that even with a carousel of quarterbacks, they have found ways to win. And you're looking at Cincinnati, who only through injuries of Joe Burrow, but they still found ways to win this year. It seems to me from a distance that the Steelers may be the weakest link in that division. And if they don't make any changes, I could see that being the last place Steelers team, even if they have winning records. I don't know what they currently record. So any of those you want to address before we wrap up for today?
Well, I'll just wrap up, leave a little bit of meat on the bone moving forward. But making the playoffs this year, it's I honestly think they're going to part ways whether we make it to the playoffs or not. Meaning Tomlin and the Steelers. Somebody said he's loyal to a fault. I don't know what he saw on tape. Me and Lee and the consult. What did you see on tape, brother, to say Mitch Trubisky is a solid backup quarterback? What did you see on tape in Chicago? What did you see on tape in Buffalo? So for you to finally put Mason Rudolph, that you and Kevin Colbert committed to with a draft pick, and now, and don't let him get the job done. That even puts more egg on your face, Mike. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. Let's see what the outcome is. It's still wide open. But when we play Baltimore, we know each other too well. Those games are Ali Frazier. So it goes either way. In interdivision games, I'm not concerned about. Why? Because he can scheme against teams he plays twice a year. He can't scheme against Arizona Cardinals and New England. You know what I mean? It's weird. He knows how to scheme against in the division, but outside the division, he gets out coached, and his teams play down. So,
Okay.
but man, this is I'm so happy. I'm so happy, man, Mr. Muhammad. Hey, brothers and sisters. This is my big brother. We talk spirituality and football, man. So I hang out with this brother a lot, and we do boxing. He's my boxing coach too.
Oh yeah,
But
hey,
man,
appreciate
but
you.
hey,
I
brother,
appreciate
this
you
is a
coming
blessing,
on.
man. Still the nation.
And thank you for letting the Bears Banner channel launch this podcast. Like I said, this is just the premiere show. Those who just kind of tuned in, and I'm sitting in for Chaka right now, who's going to be the other host, and he's going to have other people on the show. So it sounds like that an era is about to end soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With Mike Tomlin being in the Steelers and possibly Bill Belichick and the Patriots, that may end. So hey, what do we have to look forward to on some of the shows you got coming up with Chaka and Barber? You know, are
Yes.
you is gonna be other people on the show? I mean, what's still the nation? What are you guys gonna bring unique to this to
Oh yeah,
that
we're gonna have
show?
some wonderful guests. We're gonna have we're gonna have a leader consultant. He's my younger brother, but he's a Steeler head, man. Good ideas and things he would like the organization to do. We're gonna have B Dub the bruh from Hampton, who's a Steeler guy. We've been Steeler fans for a long time, and other guests, that pretty much that have been Steeler fans of mine throughout my 48 years. You know, to come and give their take on the show. And it's just a blessing for us to be on Bears Band.
Okay. Hold on, let me get myself back on the screen. Having problems moving my mouse. There you are, right there. Hey man, I know this is gonna be a exciting show. I mean, I know you're very passionate about the Steelers, and man,
Yes, sir.
Steelers are one of those teams that they have fans everywhere. I mean, you could be a
Absolutely.
Chicago Bears fan and also be a Steelers fan, right? Because we rarely ever play each other. Or you could be a Giants fan and still Steelers fans. That's just how it is.
That's
Because
true.
Steelers football was just so legendary in the 1970s,
Yes, sir.
and you didn't have all the channels that you have now, like ESPN and all that. So Steelers, Cowboys, and maybe your local team was all you saw in the 1970s growing up in
That's
football.
true.
You didn't get a lot of other places because they didn't have all the sports channels. So hey,
Hmm.
Papa GD, if do you got anything else before we shut down for the day? Because we just wanted to introduce your show so people could
Thank you
get
so
ready
much,
for Shaka
brother.
and Baba. And like I said, I'm just shitting in for
Yeah,
Shaka today. That's all.
yeah, absolutely, brother. I mean, it's been a pleasure to really be on your channel. I'm elated, and it's a blessing, and I just look forward to just talking Steeler football, brother.
Okay. Hey, until the next show when they do their first show of Shaka and Baba, we're out of here.
All right, take it easy.